hi and welcome to our Facebook live session. We are here to talk about all things about trying for a pregnancy, the early days of pregnancy, if you're not sure you're pregnant or not, or what to do. So we're really excited to be joined by Clearblue as well. So between us we'll be able to hopefully answer any questions or comments that you may have. So please feel free to write them on the post and we will get through them as much as we can. So my name's Kate, I'm one of the midwives here at Tommy's. And I have the pleasure of being joined by Sally, who is from Clearblue. So if you want to just start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do at Clearblue.
Sure, thank you, Kate. It's a real pleasure to be here. My name is Sally and I work for Clearblue in the customer support area. So I work with our Careline team of advisors who are there to answer questions about the product. But also I have some involvement in the social media and product development as well. So we're really well placed to listen to women and get their ideas and comments and feedback for our products to help them better.
Oh, thank you. And I think for both of us, we really recognise that the time of life of trying for a pregnancy or planning a pregnancy, there's a lot sort of involved in that, a lot of emotions, a lot of a lot going on for a lot of people that maybe have just found out they're pregnant or not sure if they want to try yet. So it's a topic that we're really keen to be able to talk about openly and be able to support as many people as we can for this, really. So, do answer your questions as we go through, really. So I know a question that we get a lot, and I'm sure you do at Clearblue as well, is about how often to have sex during, the month, when to have sex, and sometimes it can be a little bit of a minefield, isn't it? Particularly if you haven't done biology since school and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I can't remember, what happens really. Yeah, absolutely.
We do get a lot of questions about that. What we find is at school, you get taught how not to have a baby, but they don't teach you how, what you need to do to have a baby and how your body works, how your own, women's bodies vary, so how you ovulate and when you ovulate can be a bit of a mystery. So to have a bit more information, a bit more confidence about what's going on with your body allows you then to plan where your partner is. Increasingly, people are they'll be working away from home and family life is busy, isn't it? So to plan time for trying for a baby, you need that information.
And I think a lot of this kind of information that we give, sort of NHS, Tommy's and Clearblue, we say about having sex sort of every 2 to 3 days throughout the month, can help, but also, actually knowing your cycle and thinking about when is maybe sort of a better time to do that, or may increase your chances if you sort of say if you're restricted in time or family life gets in the way and you're thinking, actually I'd quite like to know actually when would be the best time to do that.
Yes, that we get that kind of question quite a lot. So usually, as you say, if you're able to have intercourse every 2 to 3 days, sperm will usually survive 3 to 5 days, so that would cover it. But if your lifestyle means that you can't, then finding your fertile days, so you'll normally have around about 6 days when you can conceive every month. If you can pinpoint those, so we make a range of ovulation tests that will just simple urine tests that will identify your most fertile days, and then at least you know that you can target those most fertile days to give you the best possible chances of getting pregnant, which can help you relax knowing that you've done everything you can at that point in your cycle.
And everybody's cycle differs so much, can't they? Some people have a really regular 28-day cycle, others it can be 42 days, and others may not have a cycle each month, so it makes it sort of a little bit easier just to keep track of sometimes, doesn't it? Really,
it is a bit of a myth that I think perhaps again it's something that you pick up in school, that everyone's cycle is 28
days.
Textbook. We'll have women call to the care line who say, "Oh, my cycle is 28 days, but my period is always 2 days late." It's like, well, you just have a 30-day cycle, and that's completely normal.
Exactly.
But cycles can vary within one woman from one cycle to the next, and the position of ovulation can vary as well.
And I think we often get asked about, how long does it take to get pregnant? Some people actually think, well, actually I've been having sex in the first month and I'm not pregnant, is there something wrong? You know, and it can vary a lot, can't we? And we know that about a third of couples roughly will get pregnant in the first month we're trying, but actually it's really normal for it to take up to a year or even more sometimes.
Yes.
So it's really different for everybody, and I think for some people when they, you know, maybe have made a decision to start to try for a pregnancy, then it can feel like quite a long time to wait for that if it doesn't happen sort of immediately.
Yes, it can feel like it's taking a long time, and as you say, that is completely normal. So certainly for under 35-year-olds, up to a year is completely normal, and that, you know, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But I think if it's longer than a year, then we probably recommend go and have a chat with your GP. And if you're over 35 and you're trying to conceive, perhaps see your GP a little bit sooner.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you're not sure, you know, there's always people that you can ask. You can contact us at Tommy's, at Clearblue, speak to your GP. You know, if you've got questions, then, you know, do ask away, because we do recognise, again, as we said at the beginning, that time is sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to have those conversations. So, but there are, you know, services and support around to be able to answer those for you as well. So I guess the sort of the burning question for me in my mind would be like, okay, well, how would I increase my chances of pregnancy and having a healthy pregnancy as possible? And I think for me as a midwife, my big thing would be about taking folic acid and actually sort of taking that prior to conception, so before you find out you're pregnant. And ideally, we would recommend that you know, a woman is taking folic acid for at least a couple of months prior to sort of starting to try for a baby, really. And that's not to say, you know, if you've just found out you're pregnant or in the early days of pregnancy and you haven't taken folic acid, please do not panic. It's not something that we, you know, is concerning, but just to be on the safe side, I think we would always recommend for women to be taking that folic acid sort of prior to pregnancy and not waiting until you get that positive test.
Yes, it's definitely good, isn't it, to have 2 or 3 months. So if you are planning a pregnancy, perhaps you're using an ovulation test. Some women start by just monitoring their cycle lengths, noting down when their periods are, how long the cycles turn around to be. That's the time to be taking your folic acid, so you've got a good few months stored up there.
Definitely. So you can pick that up from sort of anywhere that's accessible, like any sort of pharmacy place, supermarkets do either your pregnancy multivitamins or it's on its own as well, so it's really readily available as well. So have we got any questions at all?
So we don't have any live questions, but we did have a few anonymous questions in via email at midwife@tommys.org. So speaking about what people can do to increase their chances of getting pregnant, one lady said she was quite worried about being overweight, and she wants to know whether she should lose weight before trying for a baby.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really great question. I think that's quite a common question that we get. Again, it's about kind of weight management in pregnancy, and we really do not want anyone to suddenly go on a crash diet and start, you know, anything extreme. But what we really want to put the focus on is actually being as healthy as possible. So that a lot of things are involved in that, you know, having a look at your diet, what you're having throughout the day, exercise, and actually underpinning that a lot is about emotional well-being as well. So for some people, if they're feeling quite stressed or quite anxious, a reaction to that, maybe, you know, like for eating certain foods that maybe, you know, aren't particularly healthy, or if there's something going on in someone's life, then a reaction to that, really. So it's a really good idea if you can to kind of, either you can make like a little bit of a food diary or just take note of like what your lifestyle is at the moment, thinking about any changes that you could sort of potentially make. There's loads of great information. We've got loads of information on the Tommy's website, NHS, about kind of a healthy, you know, what healthy diet looks like and support with that, about sort of managing your weight, really. And it's never too late during pregnancy as well. Again, we wouldn't advise people to actively diet during pregnancy, but we would want to focus on healthy eating and kind of, you know, just living a healthy lifestyle as possible, really.
Because it's It's right that you don't really need to eat any more in pregnancy than a normal healthy diet. Although it's nice to have an excuse to eat lots of cakes, it's not really true that you need to.
Although the third trimester, then you can get another 200 calories in. Treat yourself. We have a lovely I think calculator on our tool about what 200 calories look like as well, really. So I don't know if anyone's sort of come across our sort of planning for pregnancy tool as well on our website too, which goes through a lot of not loads, but it's a very quick tool to use. But it goes through some questions about lifestyle choices, about any medical history, about when you're sort of planning a pregnancy or if you're already pregnant, and just to run through almost like a little bit of a checklist of just to make sure that you've got everything covered, or if there's anything else that maybe you haven't thought about yet, just a little bit of guidance, if you are planning a pregnancy as well.
I think another really important thing is smoking, isn't it? So lifestyle changes, like if you and your partner are able to give up smoking, either when you're trying for a baby or if you found out recently that you're pregnant, that can really affect your chances of and the time that it takes you to conceive. And again, your GP can help with advice about that, can't they?
Definitely, and you can go to your local pharmacy as well. They have a lot of stop smoking places, your practice nurse as well, and we get a lot of calls of, I used to smoke 20 a day and I've got down to 5, which is fantastic, but it's always those, I think those last few notoriously are really hard to kick, and quitting smoking is really, really hard. So there is loads of support out there, and even if you have found out that you're pregnant recently, or you're in your pregnancy, it's never too late to stop smoking. There is support out there. So we're not saying it's easy, but we would really encourage you just to see what's in your local area, and make those steps as you can. Don't ever feel like it's too late and you just think, oh, what's done is done. That you can get that support as well. Yeah.
So one of the other questions we got through on email, one lady had heard that she shouldn't drink anything with caffeine in it, and she wanted to know if that was true.
Okay, yeah, and I think it's one of those, I don't know whether it is one of those things that's been around for quite a while about sort of caffeine in pregnancy and if you should and shouldn't have it. There's loads of great caffeine-free, alternatives out there, but actually you can have some caffeine in pregnancy, and I think probably a lot of us are quite dependent on our tea and coffee and chocolate. So to suddenly sort of stop that, I think probably is quite difficult, isn't it?
It's beyond most of us, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So don't worry, you don't have to stop completely. But as a rough guide, we suggest just sticking to about 200 milligrams a day, which probably means, I don't know what that means to anyone, but
I think
roughly
it's like 2 cups of tea, isn't it? Or maybe 1 cup of coffee.
Yeah, so I think with coffee it's a little bit difficult because it depends if it's filter coffee, instant coffee, but you can have a cup of coffee or a couple of cups of tea, just remembering that things like chocolate and some drinks also have, other drinks apart from tea and coffee also have caffeine in them. Again, we have a handy tool on our website that you can find to be able to calculate that as well if you're not sure too. So I think with pregnancy that it's sometimes a bit of a minefield really about what you can, what you can't eat, and I think when you're trying for a baby as well, thinking about sort of your diet and your foods and things like that really. I don't know if you get sort of many questions at Clearblue about that.
Yeah, we do. We get lots of questions from people to our care line, and also we take questions by email, and we have like a live chat service where we can answer questions. Lots of questions about type of diet that I should eat, also about men's health as well. So it's not all about the lady. What should the partner be doing? So things like should he not be having hot baths? Should he be wearing loose? What sort of underwear should he be wearing? Some quite interesting questions like that, because it is important to consider. It takes 2 people to get pregnant, to consider the male side of things as well, and there are things that men can do, obviously with the smoking and the diet, keeping their testes cool, so not wearing really tight pants, and walnuts as well are supposed to be really good for sperm production.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
get on walnuts.
As well. So we get lots of questions, interesting questions, and also questions about, you know, what position should we have intercourse? Do I need to keep my bum in the air for a certain amount of time afterwards?
And what's your response to that?
It doesn't really matter what position you, whatever floats your boat and works for you. It's about being happy and enjoying yourself and keeping the fun in making a baby.
Definitely, and I think that's really, really important. You know, whilst we're here to really try and shine a light on preparing for a pregnancy and trying to support people to have a healthy pregnancy, we also don't want it to get to the point where it's, you know, very calculated and actually having an impact on your relationship, because it can do. You know, we've spoken to people that actually, you know, they are trying for a pregnancy and it's not quite happening at the time that they could maybe expected or wanted, and that can have an impact sort of on your relationship, really. So I think it is a little bit of balance of, okay, this is what you want to do, and enabling, you know, making these decisions to be able to enable sort of fertility in a pregnancy, but actually just taking time out. You know, that emotional connection and your mental well-being is just as important as anything that's physical as well. So, you know, just taking time out with your partner to be able to just talk about how you're feeling, treat yourself to maybe like a little weekend away, or, you know, if you've got kids already, if someone can babysit for the night and you can have a night free together and actually just kind of try to enjoy, you know, the process where you can, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So use it. We obviously get lots of questions about our products as well. So using a product that helps you identify your fertile time can allow you to make the time in advance with your partner. So we have our newest product, for example, our connected ovulation test system, actually works with an app on your phone.
Okay.
So it's all high tech, and you can keep all the information. It'll help you with when to do your tests. It takes all the stress out of finding out when your fertile time is. And because it looks for two hormones, it looks for estrogen and then the LH surge, which is the trigger for ovulation. You can get typically 4 or more high fertility days before you then get to your peak fertility days. So you've got plenty of time to line up the babysitters, or to, you know, sort out your work schedule, or whatever it is, to give the two of you that time, knowing that you're doing it at the most useful and productive time of your cycle.
And what's your advice around sort of when to take a pregnancy test? So, you know, you kind of had your intercourse, or you've been trying, and you're thinking, well, at what point do I take a test? What do I do? You know, from that point on.
So increasingly, we're hearing from women who trying to get pregnant and obviously are excited to find out as soon as possible, so they're wanting to test early. So previously, pregnancy tests would normally be used from around the day that your period was due, but increasingly they're becoming more sensitive, and you can actually test earlier, up to 5 days before your period is due. It depends on the product that you've got, so always read the instructions on the product that you've got, follow the information. You probably, you definitely always want to use like a first morning urine sample if you're testing early, because you're looking for really tiny levels of pregnancy hormone. It's also important if you test early and you get a negative result. It could be that you're not pregnant, but it could be that you are just testing a bit too early, so you need to test again when your period is due. Yes.
Lovely. Have we got any other questions at all coming in?
So another one that we had through was from a lady who has experienced loss, and she wants to know how soon can she start trying for another baby.
Okay.
And also, will the ovulation tests work for her?
Okay. So I think if I take the first part and then you can take the second part of that question. So, you know, after you've sort of lost a baby, it is so personal as to when you want to try again. There are no hard and set rules. You know, there may be some advice that, you know, if you had a post-mortem, if you had any test investigations, it can be helpful to wait for those results to come back. But, you know, it is really important to feel that you are both physically and emotionally ready for that time to be trying again for a baby, and it's completely different for everybody. So don't feel like there's an expectation of, you know, you should be ready, you know, within a couple of months, or, you know, it is very, very personal. You can often, make an appointment at the hospital for a preconception counselling, depending on what happened following the loss of your baby as well, which can be really helpful to kind of go through what happened in your pregnancy and to make a little bit of a plan before you sort of start trying, really. But there are no sort of real hard and set rules. A lot of the time, doctors or professionals may say wait until you've had a full kind of normal period before trying again. And a lot of that is around actually kind of dating a pregnancy and to try and reduce a little bit of confusion around dates and things like that, which I'm sure Sally can also help with too. But I think the most important thing is to feel like you are physically and emotionally ready, but it can disrupt your cycle a little bit and take time for things to kind of settle down into what maybe was normal for you, and sometimes that doesn't always quite happen in the long term. But I don't know if you've got any.
Unfortunately we do get a lot of questions because, from women that have lost a pregnancy, because unfortunately at least 1 in 4 pregnancies don't carry on to term. So it's a really common thing, and it's also one of those things that isn't widely talked about until perhaps you have a miscarriage yourself. Then if you mention it to other people, people will say, well, yes, that happened to me too. But it's not something that's talked about hugely. So yeah, exactly right. When you're physically ready, it depends obviously on lots of different factors when in the pregnancy the loss happened. Medically ready, emotionally ready. Some women want to wait. Sometimes we'll hear from women who they want to wait until their original due date has been, if they lost the baby earlier on. But other women want to start trying straight away. So really, for using our products, we'd recommend that you wait for at least 2 cycles, because you do need time for your hormones to settle down, for any pregnancy hormone to leave your system, and also your cycles might change after an event like a pregnancy. Your cycle length can change, so it gives you a bit of time. Monitor your new cycles, have 2 cycles, and then after the 3rd period, then you could start using the products if that's something you wanted to do.
I think that's a question that we get asked a lot about, really. So if anyone wants any further chat or just listening in, then obviously we're more than happy for you to contact us, and we can talk you through that a little bit more if you'd like to. Got any other questions at all?
So just wondered if someone has an existing mental health condition that they take medication for, and they want to try for a baby, should they be worried about whether their medication will harm their baby, and who should they speak to about it?
Yeah, and that's a really, really great question. And we would always encourage anybody that has either a diagnosis of a mental health condition or on any medication, or actually may not even have a diagnosis, but actually may be feeling quite anxious, a little bit alone, not quite yourself, going through a little bit of a tough time at the moment. So actually, speak with your GP on the first instance, have a chat with them about what's going on for you, how you're feeling, how you're coping first, to sort of establish as to what you feel is best for you. And like any medication in pregnancy, you're kind of weighing up the benefit of that medication over the effect that it has on yourself, really. And it's always adjustable, so we would never encourage anybody to just suddenly stop taking any medication. We would really encourage you to go and speak to GP or mental health nurse or whoever that you're comfortable with speaking to make a plan. And it might be they say, well, actually we could look at halving your dose or adjusting your dose a little bit, and then monitor and see how things go. But you are the best judge of knowing how you're feeling, and that's really important to be able to talk to professionals about that. Whether you use, we've got a downloadable sort of plan that you can use if you're not sure how to start off those conversations, but however you feel comfortable in having those conversations. And again, feel free to call us if you're thinking, I'm not sure where to start or what to do. And the most important thing is that you're supporting your mental health and your emotional well-being, and you have access to really good information about the medication and about your condition to be able to make the right decision that's for you and your pregnancy. So please do not suddenly stop medication. Please do talk to somebody first and then make the decision that you feel is right for you. And I think, you know, pregnancy generally can have a huge impact on someone's mental health, and things can change throughout pregnancy as well. So it's not set in stone really. It's about being able to access that support and in doing the best thing that you can for yourself and your baby. Yeah.
As a follow-on question for Sally, can medication, not just for mental health, but other things, maybe fertility drugs, does that affect any testing, be that ovulation testing or pregnancy testing?
It can do. So if you read the instructions on the product that you've got, so for example for pregnancy testing, if you've had, it won't apply to most people, but if you've had fertility medication like an HCG injection, obviously pregnancy tests are looking for the pregnancy hormone, so if you've had medication containing that hormone, there is a chance that the pregnancy test could pick that up and give you a misleading result. If you've been given that medication, it would have been as part of some fertility treatment, so your clinic should give you advice on when is the right time to test so that that doesn't interfere. And the ovulation test, so they are looking for a hormone called luteinizing hormone. Really only fertility medications that contained pregnancy hormone or luteinizing hormone. So most of the time you can be, as long as you've read the instructions of the kit that you're using, you can be completely confident in your result.
I guess they can always contact you as well if you're not sure.
Yeah,
then,
absolutely.
You know,
so if you can go to clearblue.com and you'll find all our contact information there. So you can talk to us on the phone, you can email, you can live chat with us. We're there Monday to Friday, 7 till 3, and we've got a fabulous team of really lovely advisors who are always happy to help.
Perfect, lovely. So have you got any other questions at all? Or?
I think we'll just wrap it up there, but if you just wanted to let everyone know how they can get in contact with Tommy's and just talk through the tool very briefly before we sign off.
Yeah, no problem at all. So, you know, both Tommy's and Clearblue have a fantastic websites, and we're here to, you know, to support you as much as possible. From Tommy's point of view, as was mentioned, we have a planning for pregnancy tool on our website. So if you go to www.tommys.org, under the planning for pregnancy, it's a really easy, simple to use tool, just like a little checklist, just to support you and just to make sure that, you know, there's anything that you are unsure of or wanted to talk about with somebody, then hopefully that will pick that up for you. We also have a pregnancy information line, so we have a midwife here Monday to Friday 9 to 5 who you can call, and you can also email us midwife@tommys.org. We're more than happy to have a chat with you about anything that's pregnancy related, so, you know, do call us and have a chat with us as much as you need as well. And for Clearblue as well, like you said, you have your website as well if you want to.
Yeah, so clearblue.com, if you call by our webpage, there's lots of information about the products, but also about the kind of things we've been talking about, healthy eating, lifestyle changes. You can find all of that information on our website, and also how to contact us and all the different ways that you can contact us, and we're always happy to help.
Lovely. So thank you very much for watching and joining in. We got some great questions, and thank you for Clearblue for coming in and having a chat with us. It was really great. Thank you
for letting us come in to join you.
Yes.
It was brilliant. Thank you
Bye.
very much. Bye.